What's up, everybody? Today, welcome to the show. This is Talk with the Car Man, and we are going to be doing a killer show today. We're going to be picking up where we left off yesterday, and we were talking about this is the process of selling cars, but we were actually talking about yesterday. We were on the feature benefit and all that good stuff, and we kind of transitioned into the test drive. And the test drive is definitely probably the most awesome step. This is where it really turns into a deal. So this is kind of a really important aspect of learning to sell cars, because without this particular component, you don't really actually have a car deal. Before we get going, this channel is about education. So I'm going to try to teach you something, or you can teach me something, which that happens quite often. I don't set the mark really high. You can teach me anything. And then also, we've got a cool Amazon store that'll be on the bottom of this. Anything we talk about, we'll try to link on the bottom. And if you wouldn't and haven't subscribed, give it a consideration. We really appreciate it, as we are trying to build a really good community here, and it is a worldwide community, so it's a cool place to kind of plug into. All right, so today let's talk about this test drive. All right, got me some notes out here. Just for giggles here, let's go over what we got going on so far, just so everybody's kind of got it right in their mind. Initially, I talked to you guys about the meet and greet. Now, the meet and greet, basically, if we had to sum it up in one word, we're gaining the consumer's respect. We're showing them that we're serious about, hey, we're a serious professional. We're definitely here to do business. We've gained a little bit of credibility. We've got them talking with us. We've been able to determine a little bit of information about them, what their goals are, what they're kind of looking for, all that sort of thing. Okay, so we went from the meet and greet and fact finding a little bit, and then we went from there and we jumped into vehicle selection, which I told you, get the two cheapest ones you can find. The third one needs to be the one that you're going to land them on, and the one most likely they'll probably buy. Now, on the walk around, I told you to give them feature and benefits, basically. Give them some upsells from under the hood, walk around, talk about safety a little bit, talk about quality, reinsure them about the dealership's reputation, warranty. We went through all those kind of little things. But at the end of yesterday, I told you to end up in the driver's seat with them behind the driver's wheel, adjusting them. That's where I left you off at. And this is where we're going to go today. So we are now sitting in the driver's seat. We're sitting in the car, and we need to engage the customer to go on. Now, I told you yesterday, if the customer doesn't want to test drive the car, you just don't have a sale, period. You have to stop whatever you're doing, and you've done something wrong. You've got them on the wrong car. You've done something that's not right. Something's not gelling. The customer's not happy. So you're wasting your time at this point. If you even talk them into driving the car, you've got to find out their objection, overcome it, resell them, put them back in the right car, and head on down the slot with the test drive. So I'm going to assume that these people are willingly wanting to test drive this car because they like it, and this is the premise that we leave on today. Okay, so what is our objection with the test drive? The test drive is one of those curious things. So first, I told you we were fact-finding and the meet and greet, so we got a little bit of respect issue. And then we're giving ourselves credibility, and we're building value in the walk around. So we've got the hey, they like you, they understand you're professional, they understand there's some value in the car. They don't have those feels, man. They're not really feeling the car yet because they haven't drove it. They don't have mental ownership. So what the whole thing about the test drive is falling in love. It's got to be an emotional event. Emotions is what sells 90% of everything. There's going to be a few people out there that it's just strictly need, but most people buying a new car, it's going to be the emotional aspect of them liking how it feels. They like the smell. They think they look good. They want people seeing them in it. It's all emotions, guys. So right now, this is going to be a case of the feel. So I want you to think about that when you take someone on a test drive, is what your end game is. Your end game is for them to be in love with that car when you park it back. All right, so how do you do that? That's very simple. So basically, let's talk about the route for a second. The route is always, as far as I've always grown up, and this is how we've always taught people, is to always take right turns. It always keeps it simple. And also, I always like to get people on an interstate, especially if they're driving an old raggedy vehicle. I like to get them on an interstate because they get that feel and they feel that engine. All brand new cars, man, they just got some guts in them when you open them up on the interstate. I mean, they feel so good. People really get a sense of feel of what the car is about. And so, as far as the route goes, I would try to keep it a minimum. I would try to put anybody in a minimum of 15, 20-minute test drive because this is really ever how long you spend in the test drive is the amount of time you won't spend in the office trying to sell them. So if you spend 30 minutes on the test drive, then you get a 30-minute credit. That's the least amount of time you'll get that time back by not having to worry about trying to sell them anything because they will have sold themselves. It's an awesome, awesome, awesome place to go. So usually with test drives, I don't really get into the feature benefits till we're a couple minutes into it. I'll get them kind of going, and then we get into the interstate. I get them wide open a little bit, and I'll start talking about things. This is where a little bit of feature benefit. Thanks for the info. Do you ever let them go by themselves? Sorry if I answered it early. Just got on. That's a great question, and let me answer that right now before I get into the steps inside the test drive. So the answer is absolutely in God's heaven, no. You never let someone go by themselves in a car. And the reason you don't, there's going to be objections that happen inside that car that you can't overcome. The wife's going to say something that you may be able to swing her version, or you may be able to put her at ease, or the husband may have something you may need to put him at ease. And people get really emotional when it comes to cars because it's such a big purchase and it's very personal. I mean, they're going to be taking money out of their pocket every month. Generally, this most people, they're going to be making that monthly payment every month. So this doesn't just affect them for that hour right then, right? This is a big deal that affects them over 3 to 5 years or until they trade the car in. So this is very, very personal. So when you get personal like that, you get into serious emotions between the two. And, husbands and wives, they don't always agree 100%. And sometimes they just want a third party to bounce stuff off of. So if you effectively say, hey, here's the keys, good luck. Will they come back and buy? Maybe, maybe not. Um, if they do come back and don't buy, you're not going to have much of a chance to overcome the objection. You may get lucky. It may be something simple. But if they've had a little discussion while they were out, or another salesperson's called, or anything on that line has happened, yeah, Jeff Gordon test drive, yes, for sure. If anything's happened that can distract your buyer while they're out by themselves, it really puts you at a serious, serious disadvantage as a sales professional because you need to have that ability to, I won't say control the situation, but try to guide it along, keep them focused on the car, and keep the emotions going. Also, there's another key essential that really will affect your paycheck that happens in the test drive besides their emotional bond. All right, so there's things that you can kind of touch base on. You can do this about every car, especially if you're on the interstate. Hey, fill the passing gear. You can always get somebody to nail the gas one time. People love that. I mean, that's a given. Any new car should have that. Always ask them how the brakes feel. We know their brakes are going to feel great. Um, so you can always get away with that. Also, hey, how does the steering wheel feel in your hand? Is it good? Is it what you're looking for? Now, keep in mind, every question that I'm going to ask them, it's going to have the same answer. They're going to be nodding their head yes or saying yes. This is because we want to get them accustomed to saying yes because we're getting ready to ask them for money and we want them to say yes. But the only way you're going to do that is if you're present. You got to be present and be in the game. Um, that's the only way you're gonna keep them solid inside the game is just being there, and I say leading the witness. You got to lead the customer, and that sounds kind of I don't know what that sounds. I don't know how it sounds exactly, but that's exactly what you're doing. You're kind of guiding the process. I don't. There's no other way to put it. That's what you're doing. And you have to because you're there to make a living. So the only way you're going to be able to keep them going in the right path is actually be you just got to be present in everything they're doing. Now, there's such a thing as just overstating yourself into a situation. Like if the husband and wife are starting to talk and they're like, "Hey, you think this fits in the garage?" And the husband's like, "Oh, I don't know." Um, oh, Big Cliff lost sound. Oh, that's not good. What up, everybody? Everybody's like saying hi. Okay, everybody's good. So yeah, so you if the husband and wife are starting to talk, kind of lay back, let them kind of do their thing. And then encourage even more and more test drive. You wanted them to test drive that car until they're completely happy. Once they're completely happy, that car is ready to come back home, and we'll get to that in a second. So after you've got the vehicle, and usually right after they accelerate the car to check out its passing gear, this is the perfect time to cash as king them. How what I mean by saying cash is king, that's it's kind of a cliche. It's been around forever, but it's a very true statement in a lot of different businesses. But the more cash that someone has available, the more profitability you'll have on your car deal because of the more money they can put down, the more you can finance, which is the more profit you can hold, which is awesome. So how do you find out? And it also makes their payments lower. So if they're in a little bit nicer car and they can put a little more equity down, it makes your job easier on the payments. Maybe they can only afford a $200 or $300 payment, but they got 5 grand down, which would help them, jump from a $23,000 finance to a 17 or 18, whatever you got. So you tell them, say, hey, listen, you need to tell them the feature and benefits of putting cash down while you're on the test drive. Say, hey guys, it's always I always tell my customers, it's about equity when you're buying a car because you know the process. And you want to have equity when you buy the car. Are you thinking about putting some down payment down? And they'll either say yes or no. And if they say no, say, hey, listen, what if I gave you a couple benefits of putting some money down? Do you think you might be able to, or you think you would want to? And then they'll either say, well, I don't have any, I'm broke, or yeah, what's your benefits? Then of course you can get into, well, number one, you'd have equity in your car. Number two, you're going to have a lower payment, which means lower interest. I mean, there's all kinds of little benefits to putting some down payment. And also, before you start your negotiations, now that you're in a car, everybody's kind of contained in one area. You know right now that they're in love with the car, and you know what their down payment is. This is a big deal, and this overcomes so many objections in a few minutes when you get back to your dealership. So, cash is kingdom. Whenever you find out the amount of money, that's great. Let them fall back in love with the car. Drive, drive, drive. Right hand, right hand, right hand turn. Feature benefit them a little bit. At some point, if there's two drivers, both drivers need to drive the car. Because if not, when they get into the close office, she'll be like, oh, you didn't even drive it, so I don't know if you'll like it. Or he can be like, oh, honey, you didn't actually drive it, so I don't know if you liked it. See, this is an objection that's going to pop up, and it's going to be an escape route that you need to close down. When I say escape route, that's kind of harsh. What I mean is, it's just an objection that can come out that can blow your car deal. That's all. So you want to pay really, real close attention to those details. Once they've actually engaged and they've switched, and you go through the whole process with him again or her, whoever the second driver is. Hey, how does it feel? How's the steering? Try to come up with a couple different things. Do how are you looking over the dash? Does the dash feel good? Is the AC got the right blower? Whatever little things that you can ask the second driver for to get the yes answer would be great. Little conversation goes a long way in a test drive. Keep it nothing about politics, nothing sexual, nothing that is anything negative. Anything that's negative or can be off color key, you don't do any. That's what she said jokes. Nothing even along those lines. You got to be completely professional. The second you take it down from professional, you're going to you're going to give them an out, which is, well, this guy, I'm going to spend 30 grand with this guy. And I don't know. I think he shouldn't be talking like that. And you shouldn't, you're a professional. So do not do it. Um, that's just kind of like 101, how to keep your head above water when you're inside the car with the customers. But always be friendly. Yes, sir. No, sir. Never let that guard down. Always promote that stuff as just is. They make them think that like this guy is the nicest guy I've ever met in my life. That's how they need to feel. All right. So when you get back to the dealership and you're rolling down pretty good, here's what I always do when they get back. Because this, what I told you, it's all about overcoming objections, and you keep assuming that they're going to buy the car completely through this whole process. So what you say is, hey, if you want to go ahead and take the car home tonight, or if this is the right car for you, whatever you feel comfortable with, you got to have kind of like it's got to be smooth. You got to have a little game. I'll get Big Cliff's phone number if you need some serious game. He'll help you out. Um, right, Big Cliff, you help him out with some game. So Mr. Smooth. So we're gonna whatever you can come up with as far as your lead in, but basically you need to ask them to park in a different place than where the car came in. Generally speaking, if a customer comes back and parks the car right where they took it from, they don't want it. Which is what happens when you give someone the keys to a car and tell them to drive it. That's exactly what they'll do. They'll go drive it and bring it right back to where it came from. Now, if they go ahead and park it where the dealership's at in that general, in the front where you tell them to if they want it, now you've got a player in the game. And that's a pre-close right there. There you got somebody, it's not guaranteed you're going to sell them, but you got somebody that's willing to listen to at least the numbers, maybe see if they can get financing, maybe see if their payment can be arranged, whatever. But this is the beginning of a car deal. So that's probably the big crux of the test drive is the formulating thing that makes the car deal happen. You have all of that emotion. You've got a person taking ownership, mental ownership, when you say you can park your car up here at the front if this is the one for you or whatever. And they take it. Like when they do that, you're 50% there. Most salespeople mess up because this was such an excellent question: is do we need to ride with them? And you are just asking for disaster when you don't ride with them. I mean, I just can't even tell you. And I've had salespeople through my entire career, and they call the key tossers. They throw in the keys, and the people get back and they say, "Hey, you don't want to buy a car, do you?" Now, let me ask you a question. If someone threw you keys and then didn't even bother to show you the car, didn't skipped all these processes I'm talking about. When you come in, the only thing that you're gonna I asked me to come in for a test drive of an X racing car, so I showed him what I could do. I got you. So long story short, if a guy asked you that or offered you, he just threw you the keys, threw you on your own, threw you to the wolves, or whatever. How would you feel? Like, even if you like the car, even though you're buying the car, you're based on, hey, I like the car. If I can get a good deal on it, yeah. But at the same time, no one built value with you. Like, you don't really know all the details of this new car, other than, hey, you're a dude, so maybe you like it. All cars are the same, but we all like to be sold. And the guy doesn't have any credibility with you because he didn't walk you through the process. He didn't get you bonded with the car on the test drive. We haven't we He doesn't know how much cash down you got. It's all just a big mystery. And this is just basically, okay, well, you're nothing special to me. We don't have any kind of mental or physical or emotional connection with the car or with the sales place or with the person. So it's just numbers. So now we're just going to whore the car out, and you can either and that's exactly what you would do. If it was me, I would just be like, oh, if you'll whore your car out, I'm done, which means buy it for as cheap as humanly possible. Um, Hey, by the way, Jen is home today, so I got to be really good, guys.
Hey guys.
Okay, back. We'll come back. Um, that's how my car's pressure's that way. All right, hold on. Let's see if I can get that back. Um, okay, that's how I buy all my cars. No pressure that way. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. You're right about that. I That's right, because you know what? There's different kind of buyers out there, but this is taken from a perspective of a guy that's trying to make a living selling cars. So he could throw the car keys to somebody, but what's the chances on him making any money? There's none. So it does happen like that. Um, yeah, exactly. He's looking for profit. No, Parson, I got you. Serious talk them through it, then ask them. I got you. Hello, Jen. Hey, Jen, you got a hello. Autobuff said hello. She's not responding. Maybe she heard our episode yesterday. I have no idea. Don't worry about it, guys. I got all this. Yeah. Autobuff said hi. She said hi. Um, yeah. So I get your perspectives on buying cars for nothing and not having a personal connection. I get that. But if you really want to hold the most gross profits you possibly can, you need to go through the steps I'm telling you to, because that's how it's done. That's how you make the big money on it. I'm not that pushy with my customers. Yeah, I mean, it's not really being that pushy, really. I can see where you might take it like that, but it's not. There's a whole set of people out there that you're gonna have to curtail to a little bit. I mean, because they got like a row of possibilities. I mean, they've got, literally hundreds and hundreds of sales professionals within usually a mile or two range, with all new car skills, and they all know about their inventory, and they're all willing to go on a test drive, and they're willing to treat that customer like, a god. So to be competitive and step in that game, you've got to be able to jump in the game with them. If not, then the guy that's doing it is going to be the guy who's going to build a personal relationship with them. And it'll be like, oh, I'm going to go deal with Jamie down at Toyota, and whoever that other guy was. I mean, I guess he was nice, but I don't really know him. So that personal relationship's not going to help you out if you don't establish it. I know it seems crazy. Like, to me, the easy way, uh, yeah, you could let the car sell itself, but a car's not going to sell itself, not for the maximum profit. I I take that. And one side depends on what you're selling. If you're talking about a used car that's like a niche market, say under 2 grand, 2,500, and we know that there's none available out there, you could have a nice enough car that they either want it, um, or they don't want it. Period. But even though, oh, Buff, I'm going to get on you on this one. Even on a cheap car, you need to ride in that car with them and overcome objections, because that car can't represent you. So it may be something simple that costs you money that you're not aware of, if you got the ability. In other words, like, let me think about something. Okay, like a little brake, like you get a little brake noise in it or something. I'm just saying on the cheaper cars. If you had a little brake noise on it, and the customer's like, oh, this car needs work. There's some funky noise. I don't want it. Okay, we know that that's not a reason to dump a car for $2,500. You can be like, hey, listen, that's just a wear indicator on the brake. Take care of that. It's $20, and maybe you're making 2 grand on the car. We don't care about the $50 bill on it. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and make the deal happen. And that's all I'm saying is, cars, even though that is a habit to be in, I get where you're coming from on that. But if you really want to make profit on cars, you can't let them sell themselves, because there's too many objections. Although you will have some success, because there is a certain variation of the population. They're just looking for transportation. They have X amount of money. If this car does it, they don't care about you. They don't care about the sales process. They don't care about nothing. They're going to show up. They're going to hand you the money, and that's it. But if you're in a market where there's a lot of competition, and there's a lot of competition in new cars, there's a lot of hard competition. You've got dealers spending millions of dollars in sales training and all this stuff. And if you're going to be competitive, then you need to step up and be competitive. And you're not going to be competitive if you take any shortcuts. But in the lower end of it, you do have a certain, you got a certain bit of rope you can play with, because it is such a niche thing that not many people have it. They can't find the car that you have. If you've got a cheap car, it's hard to find those. But it's not hard to find a new car. Everybody's got them. Yeah, you can never make it selling new cars. LOL. Everybody can make it selling new cars. It's just a lot of rejection, because what happens is, guys, here's what I'm just, this is real talk. Let's just have a real conversation here. So I have done this, and I have done every step that I'm telling you about, and got them all the way into the close, which tomorrow we'll be getting into. We're going to be getting into reverse selling the trade, where tomorrow is going to be the trade-ins. We can't get into that today because it's too involved. But I've been in this business so long, and I've waited on so many customers that I almost know, like in the test drive, I could tell you they're either buying or they're not. I can tell you when I send my salespeople out. when I watch them walk up through the thing and their customers in tow, if they've got a good rapport, everybody's happy, life is good. I know I got a deal. If the people walk in and they look pissed and the salesperson looks agitated, I know that we don't have a car deal. That's exactly right. Yeah, exactly. The new car features make it studying for a biology exam. Actually, you know what? All new cars are pretty similar. Hey, that's Jen again. Hey, Jen. Hey, by the way, Jen, come over here for a second. Guys, we're taking a quick break. Come here, Jen. Actually, Jen, go get your medal, then come back. Go get your medal, then come back. I'm gonna brag on Jen for a second.
Oh, Lord.
But yeah, you get the feel for people whether they're in or out. Like you get the feel for it so quick and easy, and it's all about people have objections. And I know I've went into this before, but maybe not with you guys. People buy for three primary reasons: need, greed, and fear. So, and when I say is need, their car's bad. Greed is, oh my God, such a good deal. And fear, this deal is going to be gone because it's advertised at $3,000 below book. There's that guy. Okay. Come on over here, Jen. Watch this. Okay, so Jen went to tell me about this, Jen. I know what she did. I just don't want to mess it up.
If you've watched any of the skating videos, which there's only a couple up there because I got really badly injured last year, had a fractured pelvis.
Yeah, Jen got tore up from the floor up.
Knocked myself out. Well, my brother and I were a dance team. He landed on top of me. It fractured my pelvis, and then my head hit the floor, knocked me out. So had a really bad concussion.
But you're back now.
But I'm back, and I just went to my first regional.
And she got a silver. She placed silver.
Silver medal.
No, she's not roller derby. She does
artistic dance.
Artistic dance.
Big Cliff, yeah. I'm not into getting my head knocked off any more than absolutely possible.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, Big Cliff.
I do that. I do that to him.
What the? But yeah, so Jen went to regionals and she got her silver, and next year she hopes to be a national competitor. And she's with Team USA on the USARS division, and so I think that's how it's done. I'm not actually a professional athlete. Y'all may have figured that out.
It's just Team USA.
She's Team USA with USARS.
This year, but it's all good.
A lot of injury.
I was back for about 2 months. So.
Okay, so everybody, Paul Tracy, she seems nice. I don't think she will put you in the chokehold.
Oh, but I will, Paul.
Big Cliff, shut up. Autobuff, shut up. None of y'all talk about anything we've talked about last week while she was gone.
See, he's telling on himself, guys.
All right, got you. Okay, so all right, so she's gone now. Yeah. And basically I taught her everything she knows. Y'all should know all that. All right, let me catch back up on you guys. Let's see here. Okay, only one team worth being on. Yes, it is. I'm too fat for that. Big Cliff, brother, I understand, my man. I am too fat for that too. I do go roller skating with them, but Jesus, I was rolling around one day and something, I don't know, my wheel stuck, and next thing I know, I look like a porpoise that pooned himself sideways and a face planted backwards down. It was very painful. All right, let's see. We got a message retracted. I don't know what that means exactly. Okay, awesome. Great job. Never too fat for that. Only team worth being saved on. All right. Hey, Jamie, new to your channel, bro. You got me interested as you fixing up the Grand Dams. I love Pontiac Grand Dams, making it look new again. I got you, Big Cliff laughing. Jen, did you know? Did you know what? Yeah, Jen doesn't know. Jen knows what we tell Jen. That's all Jen knows. Okay. All right. Back to the test drive thing. So that's where I'm at on test drive, guys. Tomorrow we're going to get into the reverse sell because before we can negotiate the close, we've got to deal with that trade-in. And if we don't deal with the trade-in, there's not going to be any profit for you to deal with. So the trade is the biggest problem you're going to face. Hopefully you've done a good job test driving, and hopefully they're in love with you and they think you're the best person in the world and the most educated, and they feel secure and they feel great. And now all we got to do is do a couple details to take it to the home run. the home base. Meanwhile, if you haven't had a chance, subscribe to the channel if you wouldn't mind. I would definitely appreciate it. And what I always tell y'all is to go ahead and shop. Get up on one of my videos other than this one, which isn't up yet. But one of my other videos and go to our Amazon.com for anything you need. We are the man. I got it for you. I got my own influencer store. It's tip top. You'll love it. Anything else? That's about it. So tomorrow at 5 o'clock, we will broadcast again from the RVA. And the subject tomorrow is going to be reverse sell the trade-in. Okay. And any questions you got on that, let me know, and I will be ready for you. And basically, just to kind of give you an oversight of what that is. So there's two deals going on. There's the deal where they're selling you their car, and there's the deal where you're selling them your car. And when it comes down to them selling you your car, well, it's the same thing, except you're a professional car salesman, so you should be able to sell them the fact that their car is worth a reasonable amount of money, because if you don't, and they think their car is an inflated value, then you are up creek without a paddle. And unfortunately, your car deal could sink right there. So this is a big deal. Trades are an awesome thing because there's such a thing as holding back on trades if you can figure out their value. I guess for each man his own. If you could hold back a little bit, there's some profit to be made there. But if you have to pay more for it than it's worth, you could lose money. So it's a big deal to reverse sell a trade. Huge deal if you're going to make it in the car business. Okay, I got you, man. And stroke blown and drove hard. You gotta love the people. You gotta love the people that get on the Car Man's channel. If you can't love the group that's on here, you just ain't got any. You ain't got nothing in you. All right. Peace out, guys. It's 32 minutes. This will be our shortest one this week. I'm sure tomorrow we're going to be getting into the trade-in. We'll take a few extra minutes. And anything you need, let me know. I'm here for you 24/7 and broadcasting live 5 days a week. Peace out. Nothing but love from the RVA. See you, baby.